Hey everyone, Seth here, and you're watching What's New on Netflix. This week we're looking back. We're looking back at a character that if you're under the age of 40, I know that you grew up watching and pretending to be, and that is Pee Wee Herman. And the Netflix original movie is Pee Wee's Big Holiday. Pee Wee's Big Holiday is about Pee Wee Herman encountering a mysterious stranger and going on his first big holiday adventure. It's great to see Netflix producing original content that's totally brand new, but it's also awesome to see them throwing down and taking a risk and producing stories about characters that I know many of us had loved to watch as kids. So that is definitely one to check out. It brings back a lot of great laughs and really reminds you what we loved about Pee Wee Herman and his crazy behavior. Next up is the animated movie Hell and Back. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. If you're easily offended, do not watch this movie. This movie definitely earns a strong, hard, rated R rating. One of the great things about this movie is that it's done in stop motion animation, much like the children's movie Paranorman, but this is not for kids. Do not let kids watch this. It is profanity laced, vulgar comedy. But if you can get past that, it's actually smartly written, and there's a lot of really well landed jokes in it. It stars an all-star cast. I got to read it off because there's so many of them I can't even remember. But it's got Nick Swardson, Mila Kunis, Bob Odenkirk, T.J. Miller, Susan Sarandon, Jennifer Coolidge, John Farley, which I always love his work. And it's directed by Tom Giannis and Ross Schumann. I would strongly suggest watching this film if you got a pretty thick skin and you're not easily offended. It's basically about these three knucklehead friends that work at a dying amusement park, and one of the friends steals a book, this demonic book from a fortune teller, a fake fortune teller at the amusement park, and it just happens to be a real book from hell, and he starts reading the words and he gets sucked into hell, and his two buddies go through the portal into hell to try to get him back, and it's just their crazy adventure down there. And a lot of the humor is outlandish and vulgar, but it really lands well and it kind of fits for this type of movie. And what is so interesting about this film is you're not used to seeing a stop motion animation film that's specifically made for adults. We're always used to it being rated PG for little kids. So it is kind of a breath of fresh air to see something like that. And I look forward to other stop motion films from these guys in the future. Next up is the Netflix original series Making a Murderer. This is one of the best series that I've seen Netflix produce to date. It follows the real life story of Stephen Avery, who was wrongfully convicted of rape in the 80s, and he spent many years in prison, and then he was exonerated of that and found to be not guilty. And then less than 5 years after being released, he's back in prison for the murder and disappearance of a woman. And I'm not going to ruin too many details about the case or the story, but it is a multiple episode series on Netflix, and it's very controversial. You get to watch a real case and a real investigation and trial go on, and it really raises a lot of questions about our criminal justice system and whether or not he actually did it or is he innocent. And it's definitely something that everyone is talking about right now, so I would absolutely watch it. It's very educational. It will suck you in, and at the end of it you're going to be feeling a lot of strong emotions either way. So I would definitely watch that one. Next up is the documentary The Propaganda Game. Now, I've seen many documentaries about North Korea, but by far, in my opinion, this is the best one. The reason why is because the filmmaker got inside access. I don't know how he did it, but he's a Spanish filmmaker, and he got inside access with the North Korean government, talking directly to generals, to political diplomats, and getting exclusive private tours of some of the facilities in North Korea And you really see how distorted the North Koreans view the outside world. It's very sad, and it kind of shows the hostile environment and the tense environment that people that live in North Korea have to go through every day. But yet, amongst all of that hostility, there is life, and there are beautiful people that live there. And they're getting married, they're playing, they're learning, they have big dreams and goals just like all of us. And so while you watch the documentary, you will see how oppressive the government is, but then you also see just how beautiful the people are, and it'll just make you feel for them even more. And there are many other surprises in the documentary that I'm not gonna reveal because I don't want to spoil it, but it is an eye-opening documentary, and that's how I think documentaries should be. It shouldn't just be about entertainment. It should be about really broadening the viewer's perspective on a topic and connecting with something that we normally wouldn't have a connection to. So I would absolutely suggest watching this one. And last but not least, I have to end on a high note, and that is the Netflix, we're going back to the past again, to the early 90s, Fuller House. It's a reboot of Full House with all of the same characters except for the Olsen twins coming back. I have to say that I've really enjoyed this series. It really reminds me how cheesy the original one was, but it's fun cheesy. It's not raunchy in any way, and it's something that the whole family can sit down and really enjoy watching. And it's just great to see these same actors and actresses come back and reprise these roles, and kind of reminds me of the new reboot of Boy Meets World being Girl Meets World, and bringing back the same characters from the past that from our childhood we all enjoyed watching after school, and there being like good morals at the end of every episode, which I think a lot of shows lack now, unfortunately. But this is a series that I think that adults that enjoyed the show as kids would love to watch, and I think they would have fun watching it with their kids. Well, everyone, hope you enjoyed this week's episode of What's New on Netflix. If you want to get more episodes every week, just click subscribe. Peace.